Thank you all for tuning in to Politics, Religion, and Whiskey, the Josh Terry podcast, brought to you by Raising Grace Studios. Today, we're talking conspiracy theories. And I have got Miss Kori Spires in here with us today.
Hello.
Resident country artist, all-around badass Southern rock artist
Thank
here
you.
in South Georgia. You got to hear from her on the podcast the other day. If you haven't heard it yet, go download it. I think it's our episode 3 or 4. She did an extremely good job. We had to have her back for this because we kind of went on a little spill about conspiracy theories.
I'm a nerd.
That's okay. And to my other side, one of my best friends, he's like my little brother, resident stoner. He's cool as shit. J.D. Nesmith, who's never done anything like this before. So if he sounds awkward, it's because I've gave him a lot of alcohol and no drugs to do this. So J.D., one of the reasons why I asked you on to do this podcast is a couple months ago, I heard a conversation you and Lee Tucker were having about chemtrails and some other stuff, lizard people, and I dove down this fucking rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, and I already liked them. And you led me to Fall a Cabal and some other stuff out of the shadows, and I've been addicted ever since. So when I heard Kori last week say that she was into them, I was like, you know what? Let's get together, have a couple drinks, and let's talk some of this shit. Because I think there's a lot of people that's just as interested in them as us.
Yes, sir. There definitely is. There's a lot of free thinkers out there that's like me. They want to find out more about the truth to our reality and within our existence, and how it's been manipulated over time to where we have been taught to believe what everybody's been told us to believe. And that is the elites around the world that manipulate what we want to believe.
In other words, buckle the fuck up, folks. That was I've done a few drugs in my life. Explanation to what this is about to be, but no. So one of the ones that me and you watched earlier was about the chemtrails. Now explain to everybody about the chemtrails real fast before I try to debunk the shit out of it.
The chemtrails are basically heavy metals that the government has been spraying on us over decades of time, and they have put it in movies to desensitize the public and to make everyone believe that it's safe, it's for, the crops, it's organic, and they want to help us, but really it's just heavy metals that they're trying to slowly poison us over time and make us stupid and basically just keep us in check with their agenda. They want us to be stupid, basically. That's basically the whole thing of it, is because the heavy metals,
You're not talking fucking Metallica here either, right?
Yeah.
No, you're talking about, for people who have not seen what chemtrails are, please go look them up. But they are what we would think would be exhaust or whatever coming out of the bout of an airplane.
We're talking like periodic table metals, not
I
Metallica.
know.
Yeah,
what
like,
I'm talking about.
Got you.
But still, Metallica changing the world makes more sense than what the fuck he's saying
Yeah.
right now to me.
Well, they're dropping like aluminum because that affects the brain, the chemicals in our brain, and therefore when they slowly try to poison us over time, it affects our brain and our thinking to where that we don't think clearly anymore, and we're just dumbed down, and and that's exactly what they want us to do. They want us to be dumb.
Now, all right, so what is, though, I know it's not just you that has this theory. What led you to believe this? Like, what evidence is there out there that makes you think that this is accurate?
The evidence out there that I believe made me think it's accurate is because there's a lot of things there's a lot of documentaries that I've watched, and there's many things that tie in together, and it all adds up. It's not just one thing. It all ties together. It's not just one thing. It's all together. So I've watched many documentaries, many facts, many coincidences that add up together, and it's mathematically impossible for them to all be a coincidence. And having the facts and everything that they have said, it's a lot, but it's true. I mean,
Well,
it's
the
not,
stuff that you showed me earlier, to me, it looks just like it's an exhaust. I mean, it does. And then it was brought up to the fact that there was condensation or whatever. And in my mind, what you were trying to explain to me is that condensation, that it evaporates. Well, it does evaporate, but it doesn't evaporate instantaneously. So that's kind of where it threw me off. I get where, if it did affect, first of all, if it was metals reflect.
Yeah.
Most metals reflect. So if they were something that a plane was putting out, we wouldn't see them. We wouldn't see them as exhaust. We would see them as a reflection of blue, and they would disappear into the sky.
right.
So that's my thing. I don't really get the chemtrails. What about you, investigative reporter over there?
With my notes ready over here. I fully believe that it's some kind of chemicals or something because, like he said, you see it in the movies and everything else. Like any movie you see where there's something crazy going on, you see the planes fly over, or before something crazy goes on, you see planes fly over. There's something coming out of the back of the planes, and then boom, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah,
and
that's what it's
I
supposed
mean,
to be.
I know we've all seen the planes with the chemtrails. And actually, right before Prince died, he was doing an interview on one of the Tonight shows. And he was like, yes, chemtrails are real. Like, chemtrails, they are real. Like, I've been up
So
in
the
the
government
hood.
now, they killed Prince
I do think they killed Prince because he knew some things.
because of chemtrails. All right.
Because
So
he was exposing a lot.
in what fucking world though does Prince have top secret information? Like, he looks like he's the person that you don't give top secret information to.
He was a musician. Like, big
As
elite
much as I
musician.
respect musicians, they're not given top secret.
Oh, I know, but you know, like, the whole thing with the Illuminati, musicians, the elite, things like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure if he's been around the right people, he's heard some things. And
I guess I don't believe in it, that one.
yeah.
But I could see how some people, you might want to. You said a very key word right there, the Illuminati.
Yes.
This guy has led me to a lot of the Illuminati stuff.
Oh, yeah.
To where it has been...
It's where it scares you a little bit. You're like, oh, crap.
Yeah, it's very creepy. The Illuminati is just another secret society. There's many secret societies out
Y'all hear
there.
this, don't kill us.
Well, I don't think that they're just... I think there's got to be a society. I think there's got to be somebody who runs our society.
Mm-hmm.
We're animals. Regardless of how you want to break it down, we're all fucking animals, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we don't have somebody putting us in the right direction and keeping us between the lines, well, we're all made to veer. Like, we're all made to veer off the fucking road. So I understand the need.
Why would we need the Illuminati if we have the government?
Well,
That's true.
but you got me there. But
Yeah.
but still, don't you think with
the government part of the
they've got to
Illuminati?
be hand in hand. Like, it's got.
With your all-seeing eye behind you on the wall.
I know, that's Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan knows it all.
Yep.
That's
Shout
the
out Joe
only,
Rogan.
That's the only that I need to know. That's the only, that guy speaks the truth. He's gonna say shit that you don't want to hear. That's why he's on the wall behind me. But no, like with the Illuminati, the stuff I've heard, you led me to a documentary. It's called Fall Cabal. For everybody that has not watched the 3.5 hours of Fall Cabal, it will completely mess up your life. It'll have you rethinking everything in your life, everything that you know. It is, it's out there. Everything from starting with JFK is where it really starts with that mess, and it was way before that. But so like with some of that stuff, I feel like there is an organization that runs everything, but I think it might be for the best. Like, I think that there is a group of individuals, because if you have a bunch of dogs running around in your yard, you don't control them dogs, they tear up every fucking thing. That's the same way we are as humans, with wars and everything. Like, we all want, every one of us wants to piss on something else and make it our own.
So are you thinking that the Illuminati it's like on the ladder or whatever, there's Illuminati government?
I think that it's got to be the government. I think the people that come up with these conspiracies, and I believe in a lot of this shit, don't get me wrong, but I think that some of this stuff is built because you don't want to say that you need a ruler.
No.
Like, I think a lot of this stuff's come up with because people don't want to be ruled. Well, you ain't a king, I ain't a king, we don't own all the land that lives around us. Who is to say that, somebody's not going to come in one day? Look at fucking Genghis Khan. He murdered 70% of the world. And if it was not for Illuminati, government and stuff, there would be another Genghis Khan. How does that benefit to let this everybody run wild and run free?
The Illuminati does not have pure intentions. They want to rule us and they want to enslave us. They don't want to govern us for the right purposes. They want to govern us to basically like where we're all enslaved by them, and they just totally want to annihilate basically the human race. They don't care
But
about
if you
the human
annihilate
race.
the human race, then what's left in this world?
Well,
that's my thing. Like, if you look from like a metaphorical point, are we not already kind of enslaved anyway?
I really don't think it's that they want to kill off the human race. I think it's just that they want to create their own elite race of people.
That's true, but they don't want the normal person walking around to be able to change their reality and their situation. They want the ones that are elite to be able to prosper. They don't care about us normal humans. They want power. They want money, and that's how they rule. And that's their whole ideology.
But y'all realize, though, that in order to rule, you must have a kingdom to rule over.
Mm-hmm.
True.
You're nothing if you don't have anything to rule over.
True.
So if you, I think what a bunch of that shit is we're already technically slaves. That's going to piss somebody off saying that, but we've all been taught that we're supposed to work 9 to 5s. We're supposed to pay all these taxes and shit. We're supposed to do all these things that's not natural. Like, there's so many things in this world that is not natural that we've been led to where we're supposed to do. Well, if I'm one of these people that's in the Illuminati or whatever, then I want life to continue as is because that's what's made me my money. Mm-hmm. If you just want to be the richest sumbitch on the planet, well, you can't be the richest sumbitch on the planet unless you have workers. I think that a bunch of that stuff is really just they want to make all the money and they're going to do whatever they have to do to keep society as is.
Okay, so something related to the chemtrails and to the Illuminati, like we were just talking about. Do y'all think that the chemtrails like emit diseases into the air? And like the Illuminati, whatever, the elites, they send out these as a way of like depopulation of people.
I do believe that.
Kind of like the coronavirus.
I do believe that they definitely can. They will if they have to. It's definitely possible. They're very technologically advanced. The government is. Mm-hmm. They've kept secrets to the public, and I believe that they would if they have to. If it comes down to it, they would.
Because kind of like with Pizzagate, are y'all familiar with Pizzagate?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so with Pizzagate, a lot of the people that have been involved in this so-called ring or whatever, they all caught the coronavirus and died. Most of the big ones in there.
Well, it was probably the ones that...
Or do you think that they're using the coronavirus as an excuse or as a cover-up that they were part of it?
I think coronavirus is real, but I don't think the hype around it is. And I think if you were going to have a mass depopulation, and that's kind of what like China and shit has done in theory, all right? Like you're going to have so many children and stuff over there, right? Well, that limits the population. We live in a free country, right? So you can't say, hey, you can only have certain number of children there, right? So it's eventually at some point in time, you have to cut the head off. Well, our head is our elderly. Mm-hmm. So with coronavirus, one thing that has pissed me off from the very beginning of it is it has never been pushed to boost your immune system. It's never been pushed to boost it. So by having our elderly and having a lot of people sanitize and a lot of people just lower, if you staying secluded in your home lowers your immune system.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever flu season comes around or other diseases take hold of somebody, which we've already seen a lot of other, they'll say coronavirus killed somebody, but it ends up being another underlying cause. Why?
Right.
Well, lowering your immune system, which is what everybody's done that listen to the government.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's a good way to depopulate the entire country or whatever without it looking like it was another virus? You made other viruses more effective now. So when flu season hits, when somebody is going through cancer treatments that would normally survive, and other diseases, what's it going to do to you now that you've been isolated? Your immune system's at an all-time low, and your body doesn't have any antibodies for the shit. Like, that's one thing. We come in contact with stuff every single day that builds our immune system.
Yeah.
What happens to all those folks that's in those nursing homes right now?
Yeah, honestly, my aunt, she's in the nursing home, and
Yeah.
they're trapped in there. I mean,
They have to be.
yeah, she's disabled. She can't walk. So she just sits in her bed all day, and the nurses come in and out. But my thing is like, if you're trying to control everything, why would you still let them? I mean, I understand they got to go home, blah, blah, blah. But it's really not helping any because they're still going on. They're still going out in the general
But
public.
that shows.
And they're bringing it back.
Well,
So-
the other thing is with that.
Kind of like prisons. A lot of
Yeah.
the inmates are just dying of coronavirus because, I mean, they're stuck there. They can't leave.
But also, too, if you were going to pick two things to eliminate from this country, what they're going to say is the better result of them not being there anymore. Criminals losing their life to this coronavirus or whatever, and then our elderly. With our elderly, let's think about it. They're getting paid Social Security checks while they're sitting there, right?
Yep.
They're technically a burden, and I know a lot of us don't feel that way, but they're going to be a burden to society sitting there. Like, they're getting paid to do nothing anymore, but because they paid their taxes their whole lives, government owes them that damn check until they die. Well, what better way for the government and whoever to get out of that situation
Then kill them.
than kill them?
That's exactly right. They want to lower our immune system to where we can get sick easily, and they do want to depopulate us. That's part of their agenda. They have many things within their agenda, but that's definitely a main one. They want to depopulate.
I mean, look how much debt we're in as a country. Look how many things that, we've got towns that, even when the corona shit started, think about Walmart. Think about all these grocery stores that ran out of stuff.
Yeah.
We saw very quickly that there's not enough to go around. There was people that went without.
I feel like I should have bought stock and toilet paper in Germany.
We all should have fucking
I know.
bought.
We would be millionaires.
Yeah, you look, but also, this is also something weird. It's when you come back to conspiracies. Look at the people in Congress and the people in the Senate and in Washington in general that did buy stock in that shit. And look who sold stock and certain other things before this got really bad. I like I said, the
You
disease.
think they knew it was going to happen?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, they controlled it. I mean, I've been saying something the entire time that I heard that I absolutely love, and it's lions, not sheep. Okay? There's been a lot of people, and you really go through your social media and you think about it when you see these people that never wore a mask, that never quit living their regular ass life. Did y'all ever get sick?
No.
Did you ever see anybody that was like it? See, I think
But I had no symptoms.
Yeah. Lee Tucker got quarantined in his apartment in Nashville for 2 damn weeks. And he said one day he felt like he had a head cold. Rest of it, he didn't.
That's how I was.
I was sick as hell in February. Like, before the lockdown. I had to miss, work 12 days.
Honestly, I feel like I had it back last year, like in December. Because
Well, it was already here.
How was there a sinus infection, quote unquote,
Yes,
that
that's what they said I had.
everyone was catching? And I'm
Yep.
like, no, that's not a sinus infection. Like, that flu test was probably negative or something.
Well, see, my flu test came back twice with both different strands negative.
Yeah, mine
but
did
I had
too.
all the symptoms of it. You want to see something weird?
And they're like, oh, no, you probably just had the flu.
Lacey, who's our engineer, I want to show y'all something cool while we're sitting talking about it. Minimize that screen right there. Do not stop recording. Never stop recording. Minimize that. Go to Google. Or not, just go to regular ass Google. Type in Kobe Bryant's the newspaper the day Kobe Bryant died. It's KOBE.
Oh yeah, it's at the top of the newspaper.
But
Kobe Bryant's death was drawing all the attention away from the newspaper article.
The document. There you go. Now, if you look at this, yes, if you look at, go to images. I'll teach you. It's our engineer, Miss Lacey. All right, on one of them, and you'd have to sift
right there.
through them.
Click
Where's
that one.
At? Is it that one?
It says rushes on to develop vaccine for coronavirus.
Look at the date on that. If you look at the date, what newspaper is that? Does it show? Is it USA Today? I think it's USA Today. USA Today, the day that Kobe was in the plane crash was before the lockdown.
There's the big one.
There you go. Now we can really see it. January the 26th, public health notice. Rushes on to develop vaccine for coronavirus. Did any of y'all hear about the coronavirus in January?
No, I didn't.
Nope.
So how does USA Today already know about it 2 months before the lockdown happens?
Before it supposedly hits the U.S.
Yeah, it was already here. It was already here, and things like this get pushed out of the way. I don't believe that Kobe Bryant or his death or anything had to do with it, of course, but I think it's incredibly weird that they picked that story of Kobe Bryant dying to put as the headline and then put that right there next to it.
Do you think maybe the government organized Kobe Bryant's death?
No, I don't think Bryant had anything to do with them killing him. But I think that they would have picked a bigger story to put right there if it wasn't Kobe. That's what I mean. I don't think that they had anything to do with Kobe, but I think that they would have picked a bigger story to replace that right there and still put that knowledge into the public eye to where that, because it gives them to where it's like, hey, look, we've known about this for a while and we're going to go ahead and start fighting it. Okay, but y'all don't need to know about it yet. That's so the politicians and other people can say, hey, we saw this beforehand coming. That's why we bought stock in this shit.
Yeah, and honestly, I really don't think that there was more cases, like it being spread. I just think more people were being tested.
Well, that's what it was. That's
know
exactly
if they had it or not.
100%.
It's not like it's so-called spreading. You could have had it and just didn't know it, and you got tested, and you're like, oh, I have the coronavirus. Well, there's another number.
Right.
That's what it was. Well, that's why the thing skyrocketed, though.
Yeah.
Was because there was testing for it.
Because it creates that madness and that fear, and everybody's like, oh my God, I'm going to get tested for the coronavirus. So...
No, that's exactly what it was. And people that were just acting insane about, oh, we've got another 20,000 cases that popped up. Yeah, but you tested 200,000 fucking people.
Yep.
And you got 10% of them. Like, when you had 10% of them, that's what's going to happen, especially when you didn't test those fucking people ever before. But as we all know, our government, they're going to tell us, like, I am on such the fence about this shit because I believe in all the conspiracies and stuff. But also, too, I think that some of the stuff has to be told to us because we have irrational people that live in this world. I think that there is some people that could not handle the fact that I believe there's aliens here.
I do too.
I believe 110% the aliens have been here.
If there weren't aliens, then why can't we see what's inside Area 51?
Well, that's a military installment.
I think there's aliens there.
I think there's something there.
There's something there.
But also too, you have to look at from our government's point of view is if you let us go in there and see what's there, then what stops it from China or somebody abducting us and saying, oh, this is where they keep the fucking missiles.
This is where they keep the aliens.
You can't, for defense purposes, put all your cards on the table.
Let's talk about Roswell, New Mexico, and the UFO that supposedly crashed that the government hid.
There's been several.
Yeah. There was a lot of incidences about the UFOs being in with the government. The government always wants to cover it up because they don't want the public to know about the aliens because that's going to send everybody in a frenzy and then everybody's going to go crazy. And they don't want that. They want to keep everybody in check. They want to keep everybody to be a good noodle.
I don't think it's in check. I think that you have irrational people in this world. I think that if they told us, well, first of all, everybody that is a Christian, including myself, you start thinking about shit. Like everything gets took. a different way from that point on. Realizing that you are not the only life in this universe is going to set this world a fucking ablaze.
And that's exactly what I meant.
It's everybody would. You would have. There's no telling. You would have overnight militias. You would have states that are Christian-based states that all of a sudden are like, hey, we're succeeding.
Yeah.
Like, Georgia's its own fucking state now.
Right.
Y'all have hid this shit from us forever, and we're going to defend our own.
Exactly.
So, it throws the world into complete chaos. I think that's why. I also think that if you look back, I think it's about 1950 or whatever when supposedly the crashes happened.
1954.
1954.
Yep.
Look at the progression of technology from that point to now.
And also,
In
that's whenever the
70
treaty
years.
was made, right?
The what?
There was a treaty, alien treaty with one of the presidents. Was it Eisenhower?
Yeah, Eisenhower. They did work together. I believe that the government's been working with.
They say
the
there was
aliens.
a treaty made,
Yeah.
and then in exchange they were going
For
to.
All right,
technology.
Leslie, you got to
Give us
pull up this
advanced
alien treaty
technology.
on
Yeah.
Google because
I haven't yet.
I know nothing of it.
Eisenhower treaty with aliens.
I know absolutely nothing. I've never heard that. But I mean, it would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Eisenhower treaty with aliens. Curious case. I've never heard of this.
I have it right here. It was.
Well, if you have it, you're the
I'm
one that brought
digging.
all the fucking documents.
course.
And I respect you brought, tools for the
Like
class.
I said,
She definitely came
Yeah,
prepared
no,
for it.
that's the way to do it.
don't show it to war without
What
your
is that?
weapon.
And that did President Eisenhower
Okay.
meet with aliens at
Here we
the
go.
Air Force? Okay.
In 1954, President Eisenhower is said to have been involved in meetings with extraterrestrials. Originally, in 1953, astronomers had made a contract with a race of aliens. During this time, another group of human-looking aliens made a contract with the United States and warned about the previous group of aliens. They offered to help us with our spiritual development and growth and requested for the United States to disarm and destroy its nuclear weapons. The request was met with extreme suspicion and was refused by the United States. Later in 1954, when a meeting was set up with Eisenhower and Gray aliens, a deal was reached which was called the Grenada Treaty. This treaty stated that we would keep the presence of the Greys on Earth a secret in exchange for advanced technology.
How the hell does anybody know that? Like, I don't know where those documents come from. That could be some fucking weirdo on whatever it is, Wikipedia, that types something out.
Do we want to finish out the paragraph?
Finish it.
Okay, it was also agreed that they would not make any other treaty with any nation on the earth. It was also agreed that the Greys would be allowed to periodically abduct humans and examine and monitor their development, with the stipulation that there would be no marks and they would have no memory of the event occurring. The end.
That can't be the end.
How do we know that we've never been abducted by an alien and our memories?
I mean, if you have amnesia, don't know you have. If you've ever been through that to where you have amnesia, you don't know your previous life. You don't know your previous memories. Mm-hmm. So there's no ways to say if we've never been fucking whatever that thing was in Men in Black that they flashed in front of your ass.
Yeah.
We don't know if that's ever happened to us or not.
Exactly.
I don't have any blank spots in my life though.
Have y'all ever had crazy dreams and you're just like, you wake up
Bruh,
and you're like,
every
what was
one of my
happening?
dreams is crazy. See, I think I was like, I don't know, it was when we lived at our old house in Plainfield. See, I think I've seen something before.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what I've seen. All I remember was I was outside, it was night, and it looked like a fucking rainbow went into the backyard.
No drugs involved.
No, I was like 9.
Oh.
I mean,
hopefully not.
No,
Hopefully
a lot
not.
of cocaine at 9 years old, a little heroin.
Just like,
Yeah, that's it, a little toot. Yeah. But anyway, I saw this, and I will forever in my life remember it because it stands out. But I don't know what it was. I can't say that it was aliens. It looked like a flash of what looked to be a rainbow. Mm-hmm. But it's in the middle of the night. This rainbow came down right there, like probably a football field's distance away from me.
yeah.
I don't know what it was.
I mean,
I don't know if
it's
that's the only unexplained moment of my entire life.
And would
that's
you
it.
ever think that maybe they allowed you to see it because they're like, oh, he's a child. Nobody would believe him. They'll just think it's his imagination.
They probably did. I mean, but why? That's always the question with this
But
stuff.
why?
Is why?
Maybe
Is
we need to
if
make
they
it a
allowed
series.
if they
But
allowed
why?
me to see something like that, there's got to be something to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think that these guys are whatever they are, that they are. I think if they showed us anything, it would be because they're planning 10 steps ahead. If it was where they are real, and I think they are, by the way, I think that we're a TV show for them, that they get a kick out of watching us destroy ourselves, or I think that it's time travel. I think it's us from in the future evolving, and I think it's to where they're keeping us from blowing ourselves up.
One of the writers or the creator of the show is a time traveler.
I do too.
Because how else would he know that President Donald Trump in what year was it? Year
16.
2000?
You're
No,
talking
it
about
was
the
like-
episode?
Yeah, the episode.
Yeah.
It
It's
was
it's
really
99
early.
or 2000.
Yeah. So how would he know that he comes down an escalator and a person standing behind him drops the poster and they're standing in the exact same spot?
You got to realize, though, that a bunch of that shit with The Simpsons, I don't think it's time travel whatsoever. I think that of all the episodes they've done, Lacey, how many episodes has Simpson done? It's got to be 300 to 1,000, right? They've been on for 30
It's been
something
way more.
years.
But they've
They got,
also
20
predicted a
something
lot of
seasons.
things.
Okay, but how many things have they made episodes about that had nothing?
639.
They've done 639.
They also ended this year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's how many episodes or how many things in those episodes have been completely 100% false?
True.
You've got, if me and you, if all three of us right now, we write 100 books and we write about the future, some of us is going to have some predictions in it that's going to be right.
But it's also down to the specifics, though, of those episodes.
Most of the ones.
Well,
that do
all right,
come
in the
true,
Trump
they're
one,
very
does it say that
detailed.
he's running for president in 16?
It said he was President Donald Trump. That's
Okay.
Yeah, they said he won.
But look who Donald Trump was. Anybody that had half a brain could see that eventually the richest man in America, or whatever he is, that is a rebel to the rich people community.
Right.
Why wouldn't he run for president? That's an easy one to make. But they got a couple more that are hard.
Let's see that.
Yeah, pull up the other predictions that they've made. Okay,
That's what I
go
was talking
back
about.
up to that scene.
There we go.
Where does it say? I know it says that he is president.
There's
Or-
a video. on
Yeah, it's
YouTube.
President Trump. But what other predictions? We know about that one. Let's see. Start.
The tiger attacks. What were their names?
They
They
Yeah.
got the killer bees right there from the coronavirus.
that's not. That would be something anybody could write about.
The murder hornets.
The murder hornets actually are from Japan and they've been a thing forever. So.
Yes, exactly. But even the thing with the tigers, if you fuck around with tigers all the time, I hate to tell you, eventually gonna get mauled by the tigers. That's not a prediction. That's waiting for it to happen.
How about the Lady Gaga at the Super Bowl?
They
Diving
did
in
predict that
Brazil.
one too.
Okay, but also is that her doing that because of the Simpsons thing?
I don't know.
Okay, so that was beforehand. That could be art imitating what she saw. So I mean, they're very easy to debunk those because there's so many of them that they've probably, and they're not in predictions; they're just episodes. You got 639. Okay, there's a lot of them that probably never ever it came close to coming true. There's probably somebody that they said was gonna be president. They ain't fucking president. So
There we go.
yeah, okay. We're pulling it up. What is that one? The Simpsons. Oh, let's exit out of that. From Donald Trump's pregnancy, U.S. beating Sweden in the Olympics. Everybody knows America's going to beat Sweden in
But
anything
why
that
did
we
they
do.
choose curling?
Why not? You could have picked any sport. You could have picked anything. What is that one?
That was Lady Gaga.
I'll never say Lisa Gaga.
Okay, but still, that one right there, she could have seen the episode and be like, I'm going to do that one. What's that one?
2016 Nobel Peace Prize winner.
Is that the person who actually won it?
Yes.
Predicting will win the Nobel
The
Peace
main
Prize. That one's kind of... But still, if you know who else is on that list, look and see who else is on that list, though. Is there anybody
Is there
else?
any real names?
That would be interesting. If there's nobody else on that list that's real, then it becomes a thing. If there's other people right there, even in that section, that are people that had a chance to win the Nobel Peace Prize, but they picked that one, that's different. But if everybody's fake, then it's meant that when you put out stuff like that, I believe that throughout time that there are people that are part of like the Illuminati and stuff, whatever you want to call it, that does leave us clues. That does leave us little hints or whatever about life. But they do it in a way that's obvious. We just don't think it's obvious. So if there is a time traveler that's writing The Simpsons, what would be obvious here, if they circled the name that actually won it in 2016 and everybody else on that list is fake, everybody else on that list is real, then they just took a guess. They just took a guess. What is that one? That's just more stuff about Trump.
Bart to the Future.
Yeah, that one.
Siegfried and Roy. That's the
Yeah,
names.
and it's that one right there. You know they're going to get attacked. You know that these jackasses eventually going to get eaten by the tigers because that's a wild animal.
Yeah.
I mean,
Arnold Palmer.
I don't know what that one is. Read that one out, Kori.
Arnold Palmer. On the 28th season premiere, the strategical series made an Arnold Palmer joke. On the day that golfer Arnold Palmer died, Homer Simpson tells his wife Marge that he plans to Arnold Palmer his pal Lenny. Arnold Palmer Lenny? Marge responds, "You're going to Arnold Palmer Lenny." He was, of course, referring to the lemonade and iced tea drink mixture, which was named after the golfer.
Okay, that's weird. I mean, there is something that's weird about it. All right, keep going, because that one right there, that one, I didn't know anything about that one.
Ah, I like these. This one,
Okay.
the faulty voting machine.
Oh, our voting machines suck.
Yeah.
I mean, but also, too, y'all are babies. I remember being in middle school whenever Bush was elected, and it was a huge deal.
Bush did 9/11.
He definitely did.
Yeah.
Do y'all think he did 9/11?
No,
Yeah.
actually, okay.
I feel like he was warned about it beforehand, but he didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, 9/11 to me, though, is super touchy subject because it was a time in our country where it united our country. But it's also the time that I think that our government pulled the wool over our eyes in one way or another. I don't think it was for oil. I don't think it was to go to war. I'm not exactly sure why, but what I do know about all of it that I've researched is you'll get all different kind of reasons of why it happened, but none of that really matters when you look and see how the towers came down, when you look and see the footage from the plane hitting the Pentagon, and a couple more things, and you research a lot about our government, and you know that they've pulled the wool over our eyes before, but I don't know why.
Do you think that there was already bombs in the towers
I do.
before?
It's
The
a
planes
controlled
hit.
demolition.
Yeah. The
I thought that too, because you can see how the towers come down. They come straight
It's a controlled
down
demolition.
like any other building. Like if you pull up videos, boom, it comes straight down. I would think that if it just exploded, it would just go boom.
Well-
it wouldn't go
Well,
boom.
gravity tells you that if something impacts you on one side, you're going to fall to the other.
Yep.
Okay, with those towers, when they came down, they imploded. That is an unnatural act of gravity. That is where I'm confused about a whole lot of it. The lives that were lost that day are incredibly sad and everything, but there's something there that is not right.
Throw it in, JD. What you think?
The jet fuel does not melt steel beams, first off. The day before 9/11, $2 trillion was stolen from the Pentagon.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah,
Me
the
either.
day before 9/11, there was $2 trillion stolen from the Pentagon.
Google.
Most people do not know that. Most people do not know that Tower 7 also fell about 30 minutes after the
That's
Twin
the third
Towers.
one.
Yeah.
There was
There was a third
Yeah.
building that
Yeah,
fell. Tower
I knew
7.
that one.
Yeah, it fell straight down like controlled demolition, like y'all said.
And
No.
why, out of all days, wasn't the president in the White House on this day?
Oh, shit. A user clip. What is this? 9/11 commentary on $2.3 trillion missing from the Pentagon.
When was this?
The day before
The day
9/11.
before. Do we
It
have
says
like a
user
date
recap,
proof?
though. It says September 11th, 2017. Scroll down. Get us more information on that because I've never heard of it. Whenever you find it, we'll come back to it. But right there, day before 9/11, same thing. How have I never heard of this?
Me either.
Because they want the media wants to
Was
keep
that
this
like
a
a
secret.
hush-hush?
Yeah,
Read that out for us, JD.
September 10th, 2001, Secretary of Defense of the USA declared war on the Pentagon bureaucracy over an alleged $2.3 trillion in unaccounted for funds on expenses. The next day, 9/11 happened, and the previous day's headlines were overshadowed by the start of the Bush's administration. Modern-day crusade, the war on terror, supported by the mythical coalition of the willing in the search of weapons of mass destruction and Taliban fighters. The $2 trillion was later quietly found to have just been a computer error.
Oh, shit. I've never heard that
Me
before.
either.
But also, too, the thing I was saying a while ago, the image from the plane hitting the Pentagon, it's a fucking missile.
Yep. Exactly.
There's nothing left from a plane's debris.
Can we see a video of that?
Have you never seen that?
I have, but I just want to watch it now.
Yeah, this you can look it up on Google. It's the plane hitting the Pentagon, 9/11.
You just gotta,
No, it's definitely there's nothing left over. It's a missile. It's clearly a missile, and it's weird. So if that was the fact that, because all of our government, everybody thinks that each one of these branches are connected. Here it is.
I've never seen the Pentagon video.
Oh, you've never seen the
No,
Pentagon video?
I haven't.
Watch this shit.
Straight missile.
That's a missile.
Yeah.
That's
Is there any that's less glitchy, or is this just security footage from?
that's
that
this
day?
actual footage from
Okay, rewind
there.
it.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
going to keep showing it. It's
Okay.
going to go over and over again. But yeah, there's no way in hell that that's a plane. There's absolutely no way, and it targets one office. So if 9/11, if they knew that, see that you never see the plane.
How do they know where to hit in the Pentagon?
Well, I
Or
don't
were they
know.
just
I don't
aiming?
know
It's an inside
what
job.
office. I don't
Yeah,
know what
inside
office
job.
it is. But if I am one who is, proving a fucking point that I'm bigger than our government, and I've done stole $2.3 trillion, and the Pentagon's the ones that discovered it, well, what would be a better cover up than a terrorist attack on the whole country? Like, we're going to show you, because our government's not all connected. Like, Pentagon is there's some departments in
So
there
were they
that's their own
saying that
animal.
the Bush administration stole the $2.3 trillion?
I don't know who the hell they're saying. Like, that's the thing with 9/11.
Honestly, that would make sense, because why, if he's so-called Bush did 9/11, as you see everywhere, I mean, that would be a great way to distract everyone that you stole $2.3 trillion.
You also got to go by is why. He didn't profit from it. There was none of his businesses or anything that we know of.
I've also seen things like his wife was having an affair with someone in the White House, and they two were left in the White
Everybody's
House.
wife and everybody's husband throughout time has had affairs in the
of
White House.
course,
I don't think he
but-
bombed the country over that.
Years before 9/11.
You never know what goes through people's
True.
minds.
Years before 9/11 happened, they have already predicted 9/11 in media. They had a card game.
Because they're
called
the bombing at the World Trade.
Yeah, they had a card game called the Illuminati. It showed the Twin Towers collapsing. In media and movies, they had the bombers coming in on 9/11. This was years before 9/11 actually happened, so it was already predicted. So I don't believe that Bush did 9/11. I believe that he knew about it, but I believe that 9/11 was already in play.
Well, the
way
it's-
before
it's
Bush.
the
well
towers
aware.
had been attacked before, though. You know
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
So, like, once again, it's not necessarily predicting, but it's playing the odds.
Yeah.
This has happened before; it'll happen again.
I mean, there's proof that he knew about it, because the whole world knew that Al Qaeda was planning a terrorist attack.
Yeah, but also to try to see both
Well,
sides.
hopefully
You
we'll
don't
put
know
to rest
where.
some of the conspiracy
And
theories
They
with-
said in the
about
U.S.
September 11th.
Yeah, but
Also,
our
it's
U.S. is
important that
big.
there be a
Well,
complete
Like I'm saying, like you
record.
cannot.
I mean, I would
you
say-
literally
Also
cannot
serves as a
safeguard
useful reminder
everywhere in
about
the country.
terrible nature
If
of
it,
the
I really don't know
terrorist
if they were
threat
just trying to put an attack on the U.S. or the whole world.
But
Because
also,
with it being the World Trade
my
Center,
thing with the World Trade Center is I don't know why you picked
Well, it's
it.
important that people understand.
New York,
that
yeah,
Flight
I was
77
gonna be
is used
it's a
as a
huge
weapon
city or
against
whatever.
the Pentagon, and
But
many people
if you
died.
are
The
a
suggestion
terrorist
has been
organization,
that
this is
our
what's always
government
kind of
was
like fucked
involved
me
in
up with a
that.
bunch of it.
And hopefully
If
this
you are a
video
terrorist
puts all that to
organization,
rest.
why pick there? Why not pick airspace or whatever in Washington would be way monitored way more than
well,
New
there
York.
was a plane going for the White House. It just crashed.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I haven't seen that one before.
There
Hey
was a
there,
plane
Christopher
going to the
Walker
White
here,
House,
co-founder of
but
Boom Zoo, and I just
the,
want to talk to you today about Zoo Poo.
the
So
passengers
Zoo Poo
ambushed
is
the
our
cockpit
colon
before.
Oh,
cleanse
that was
And the
the
plane crashed.
flight,
Basically,
whatever, 97 or something like that?
non-negotiably
Right.
flushes
What is
you
it?
out. So a lot of
93.
people,
That's right.
they are actually
It was
carrying
That's the
around
one that went down in the
120
field.
pounds
Yes.
of toxic
Okay.
poop
I know what you're
in
talking
their
They pulled
body.
a Leonard
I
Skinner.
forgot about
I was a bit
But-
blown away when I
But
read
like,
an article originally
it's
about
even
that.
with stuff like
I was like,
that.
well,
If
I mean, it
that's
makes a
what
lot
their
of sense because a lot of
target
people
was,
consume a lot of
you
foods
know,
that
I
are
think you
low in
still pick
nutrients,
some
or they
other
have,
targets
there's a lot of
if
things
you're-
in our food supply these days.
if
And
you're
what
trying to
happens is
send a
people
message
start
to the
dealing
whole
with issues
country.
like
Twin
constipation, or they
Towers
just
is
get
a symbol,
bloated and
but
they
it
get
was a
backed
symbol
up.
for New York.
And
You know,
you
if
really
you're
should
gonna
be
go for the Twin
having
Towers,
like at least one
why
good
not go
healthy
for
bowel
Statue of
movement
Liberty?
every single day. And there are a lot of people
I mean,
out there
that,
that
Well, I
just
mean,
if
because
you're
that
taking a
doesn't
shot
really-
at, you're taking a shot at freedom,
or even
though.
one per
You're letting
week.
these people
And
know.
if that sounds like you, that's an
hey,
indicator
I really don't know if
really
we're
that
trying to
you need
take
to
a shot
clean
at
things
freedom,
out
but
because
just
you're
Well,
probably
you're taking
carrying
a
a
shot
lot
at
of
the
large
general.
toxic
You're
waste in
taking
your
a shot
body
at
that
the
doesn't really
country
need
in
to
that
be there.
aspect, though.
So that's
So
why
why not
Zupu
go
is so
for a
awesome, because
landmark or something
within 12 hours
that
of
is
taking
going to
it starts
just
to
fuel
get to
the
work.
fuck out
And you'll
of
notice if you click
everybody,
through the
like,
next page,
regardless-
you
But
can
it's not only
read
us,
it,
that would
and
affect
it's
France
kind
as
of
well.
undeniable.
Well, they
it
gave
works
us
pretty
the fucking
fast.
thing, but
Exactly.
it's a
Works
symbol for
extremely
America.
effectively.
It's symbol for our freedom. Even
People
though
are
there's a
really
sister
loving it
statue
the way that they
Yeah.
feel
over in
after
France.
No, I'm
they
saying,
go
but it
through a
would piss
cleanse
them
with
off,
Zupu, because
Yeah,
you
but
basically
if
can
we're
go through
we're all
a
allies
14,
anyway.
15
So
day
if we went
cleanse
to war,
with
they're
each bottle of
fucking
Zupu, and by the end of it, you're
I
going
mean,
to
but
be
you
feeling
get
They're
what
still
I'm
gonna go to
saying.
war with us. I mean, they're not gonna fucking do anything.
and
You know what I'm saying.
I
way,
get what
way
you're
better
saying.
than you are
But
right
like,
now.
and
really,
regardless
you
of
have a
the loss
60-day
of
money-back
life,
guarantee.
loss
So
of
if
life
you go
is
through
what
an
made it
entire
personal
15-day
to a
cleanse,
whole lot of people.
you still
right?
have 45 days.
Okay.
Just let us know.
If you
But
take that
if you
loss
don't
of
like
life
it
out
for
of
some
it,
reason, if it doesn't
it's
work,
just the Twin Towers.
which
It's
is
not a symbol.
not really the case.
Okay, but if
Zupu
you hit
works
something
pretty
like
fast.
Statue of Liberty,
If
you
it's
hit
not,
something
if
that
you
is
don't
a
like it for
symbol that
whatever
we all
reason,
grew up
you can
with.
get your
It's
money
our
back.
symbol
All you have to
of
do is
freedom.
email
So
us
why did they go for
help@umzu.com.
That's
Just let
a
us know.
symbol. That
No
right there is a
questions asked.
symbol.
We'll give you
I mean, that's a
your
symbol
investment
of
back.
our government.
But I don't really
that's
think that's
taking a
gonna be the
shot
case
at our
because
government.
Zupu is
Even
absolutely
if
amazingly
Bush
effective.
wasn't
and
in the
people
White House that
they
day.
love
If
it
they
for
would've
that
hit
reason.
the White House,
if you're feeling backed
and
up, if you feel like
they would
you're
have killed whoever killed there.
carrying
That's-
around a bit
that
more
to me is more
in your
personal.
intestines and your
Like,
gut than
because
you
you
need
attack.
to be,
That's
and maybe
that's
some
attacking
indicators
fucking
of that would be
freedom.
like if you have
That's
excess
capital.
gas.
that's the capital.
If you
So
do
like,
have
I've
bloating
never
and
understood
water
the
retention
Twin
in your
Towers.
gut, if you feel
I
like
actually,
you're just
there
kind
was
of
a
bogged
thing that I
down,
saw.
even things
It
like brain
was the
fog are a good
owner of the
indicator
Twin
because
Towers. He
that
actually
means that your
filed
gut's not
for
actively
insurance
communicating
claims
properly to your brain, so
months
you don't have that clear
before
focus.
the
You
9/11
can feel a little
Twin
foggy, you
Towers
feel
got
bloated.
hit.
You
And
just
he
want to
got
drop
a
that extra
whole
5 to
lot
20
of money
pounds of
off of
toxic
When you
waste
say
in
he
your body. I mean,
filed
Zupu is
for
perfect
insurance
for you.
claims,
Like,
are
if
you
that's the
saying
case.
that he took
So we
out
ship
an
it out of our
insurance
Boulder
policy?
warehouse
Yeah,
here
he
in
filed.
Boulder, Colorado.
He was
Was it from the previous
It's all
one?
shipped out the same day.
No,
Gets to your
it
house
was
by
months
around average
before.
of 2
Like
days
he
in
was
the U.S.
he
What
planned
little
what
longer.
kind of insurance did he take out? Is the thing.
like he planned for the Twin Towers to be hit.
Well, we got Miss Lacey looking it up for us. What does that say, JD?
After a protracted dispute with insurers over the amount of coverage available for a building, World Trade Center buildings 1, 2, 4, and 5, a series of court decisions determined that a maximum of $4.55 billion was payable, and settlements were reached with the insurers in 2007.
Okay, but can you find Lacey for us when they took out the insurance policy that he's talking about? Because it would make sense for them to have that building, especially with it being bombed before. And I would almost bet you everybody in this room has a vehicle, got to have insurance on it. So I would imagine Twin Towers would have to have insurance on it. Now, what he took the policy out for is completely something different. Did a leaseholder buy?
He bought terrorism insurance.
What the fuck is terrorism insurance?
Oh.
A long-standing urban legend holds that the World Trade Center leaseholder Larry Silverstein, of course, what does that say? I can't read it from here.
Fortuitously,
took out terrorism insurance just months before the terrorist attack. Yeah, but still, even then, like, I
Is
don't
this
know.
a reputable website? What is this? This
I
is
have
a
not
fact
ever-
checker. Okay.
Yes. She's good at what our engineer, Miss Lacey's good at what she does. But no, like, they've been bombed before, so it makes sense because all right. When you say terrorism, our minds are trained to think of Middle Eastern whatever terrorists, right?
Yeah.
There's terrorists in this country that are militia groups that are just fucking individuals.
Hashtag Antifa.
Antifa, exactly, those jackasses. they're considered a terrorism group. KKK is considered a terrorist group now. And they all should be considered a terrorist group.
True.
But so taking out terrorist insurance.
I really don't think that's a coincidence. Seeing how the bombing happened previously, and he was like, "Hey, maybe this is something that I need to get."
Right.
Now, if that was one thing that you had to look at all sides from, maybe they just came out with terrorism insurance too.
Because this was
You're talking about early 2001. Maybe this is a new insurance policy. They come up with new insurance policies to get our money all the damn time.
Oh yeah.
This guy could have just decided, hey, we've been attacked before. Shit, we're liable to get attacked again. Let me go ahead and cover my ass. It could be as simple as that. But
you also have to look inside. Is like, hey, did he know this was going to happen?
Well, yeah, but I just don't.
I mean, it was right before 9/11. Like he did take the insurance claim out right before 9/11. So that's just
How many months?
it's pretty
was it before?
weird.
2 months.
I mean, it's super fucking convenient. It's super fucking convenient. I'll give it that.
Kind of sus.
Well, what's the probability of it? You got to ask yourself.
Well, speaking of probabilities, I can't answer to that one. But one thing that you turned me on to that's all about probabilities is the QAnon. And
Y'all can have that.
you have you not dove into this yet?
Not a whole lot.
Oh shit, we're all gonna watch it when we leave. The QAnon is the story of the cabal. That's cabal and Illuminati is gonna be the same thing, right?
Right.
I mean, it's just a different, different term for it.
Yeah.
The fall of cabal is this pretty much going back. It starts with JFK. JFK was murdered by this government.
Yes.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you
And
say,
Marilyn Monroe was murdered by the government as well.
So
Yeah,
so
she
was
shouldn't
Michael
have-
Jackson.
why do you think Michael Jackson was?
Michael Jackson called out Sony, and Sony's owned by the elites. So Michael Jackson called out Sony, and about a week later, they tried to discredit Michael Jackson and call him like a child pedophile. Like he was a pedophile, but really it was just the elites trying to make him.
I think Michael Jackson was a pedophile.
Michael Jackson was a pedophile.
No, Jackson's 100%. He's looking at little boys' buttholes on HBO. I've watched the documentaries. They had the same story. And they could have been both lying, but I think there's a lot of weird shit with Michael Jackson. But go on, keep going with your thought on that one, JD.
Basically, Michael Jackson called out Sony, and Sony is a very big corporation, and therefore they didn't want Michael Jackson, because Michael Jackson had a very huge fan base, so they didn't want Michael to call out Sony in front of all his fan base, because then that would make Sony look bad. So they tried to destroy his career, destroy his fan base, and that's what led him.
This
to
is my
being
cup of
dead.
tea. From being in the music industry, I do believe that a lot of the big major labels are controlled by the elites.
True.
Well, they have to be.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think. If you are...
Think about Tupac, Biggie Smalls with Death Row, all that. I feel like...
Tupac fucking is alive
Tupac's
anyway.
in Cuba,
Yeah.
besides that.
Tupac's fucking
But
chilling.
think, when your music... when you die, your music is, immortal. Right? That price of that music automatically goes through the roof.
No, it's not that.
And their pockets are going to change.
No, but the reason why I don't believe is that is because there's always that next person. There's always, you got a next superstar. What I believe with the record labels...
But I mean, who's been the next Tupac?
There's been plenty that have made... There have been Tupac's fucking
That's
to
what
go.
I'm saying.
But there's also that next person to make that money. So, I mean, it's not really... You're subbing... You might have one Tupac and it took 30 rappers to equal that income of Tupac, but you still have 30 more rappers to equal that... The message with that is, though, that you need to understand is if you're going to try to control, not necessarily control the narrative, okay, then you own record labels and you own movie industries and you own TV companies, because that's the media that we view. Everything that we see on TV is owned by the same fucking people. CNN and Fox are owned, when you break it down, by the same motherfuckers.
Yep.
They're putting out a narrative. They are putting out a narrative, and unless you are open-minded, then you don't realize that you're being fed a narrative.
Yes, sir.
So with the music industry and with TV and television, they control our thoughts.
Yes.
That's it. That's where conspiracy theory comes from. That's why we have this stupid word to where instead of it being the truth, it's called conspiracy. Okay, is because some of us choose not to believe everything we're fed. And the best way to feed us is with our entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean, in the follicle ball, the thing we got on
Yeah.
a while ago is they break it down at the beginning of it. It's called television for a reason because it tells a vision. Somebody wasn't very smart when they were planning that shit out, but that's what they did. They're feeding us a narrative. But with JFK, it started with him with the cabal. They murdered his ass because he has several different speeches to where he says, "I'm going to bring down the cabal, the elite." Mm-hmm. Okay, and
they
then,
didn't like that.
Yeah, and then he dies.
Yep.
And then he gets murdered. And for 10 years after the murder, they convince everybody that, hey, Lee Harvey Oswald did this shit.
Did
He
y'all
was assassinated.
Did y'all know that the CIA actually coined the phrase conspiracy theory after the JFK assassination to coin everyone that questioned the JFK assassination to label them a conspiracy theorist?
It would make sense. I mean, let me ask you, the guy, and I can't remember his name, JFK fired a guy, and he was the one who led the investigation, the Warren Commission, to find his killer after the fact. How is the person that you fucking fire end up being the person that investigates your murder?
Big coincidence, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's weird. And then Marilyn Monroe, like y'all said, she got murdered, right?
Yep.
Well, she was banging.
So-called.
Yeah, she was banging JFK and his brother.
There was also a theory that she was pregnant with JFK's child, and that's why the government killed her.
That would make sense.
Well,
I mean, JFK had two choices in my mind. If he would have continued to be president, he would have gone on to be a president that at the end of his term, I think the Constitution would have been changed to where he could remain president. I think JFK would have been exactly what this country needed, and he was uncontrollable, but in a good way. He had the looks, he had the personality, he had the voice, he had everything to run this country the absolute right way.
Yep.
And they couldn't control him.
That's why they don't want him in office.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you can't control somebody, that's what's going on with Trump right now.
Yes.
Is they know they can't control his ass. They've tried to murder him.
They know that he knows too much in the
They've
Hollywood
tried
scene.
to kill him.
He knows a lot.
Yeah,
and that's why they want him out.
Well, he's not a fucking politician. Reagan.
He is a businessman, and that is why he is a great president for this country. Because, believe it or not, the United States is a business.
It's exactly right.
It's a business, and he is a businessman.
So and that's what we need in office.
Well, look at Reagan. Reagan was not a politician really before he was a movie star. Reagan is considered a lot of people the best president ever. They also tried to assassinate his ass. When you don't fall into a category that can be controlled, then you scare people. The unknown of what you're going to do, what you're going to say, scares people more than knowing what the fuck you're going to say. Reagan was the same way. I think they got to Reagan. I think they scared the shit out of him enough that he was like, I'm backing the fuck off. But with the QAnon stuff, it really rolls back down to Trump and JFK Jr. There's a whole lot of stuff, and they're the ones that led me to it. And it makes, what's it say in the documentary, after so many coincidences, it stops being a coincidence?
Yeah, it's basically, there's so many coincidences that's mathematically impossible for them to all be a coincidence.
And it is. Like, some of the weird stuff, and you'll have to go back and watch it, and everybody listening to us right now, it's 3.5 hours long. It's called The Fall of Cabal. There's 10 episodes to it. It is absolutely worth the watch. But some of it stands out more than others. The last episode's about 15 minutes, and it goes into JFK Jr. To roll around to who might end up being back in the White House in one way or another, Miss Hillary Clinton. JFK Jr. was he running? It was a mayor or something in New York, and he died in a plane crash. Well, he had stated several times that he was going to pick up where his father left off.
Yep.
JFK Jr. had the looks, personality. He was everything that his father was. Well, You know who he was running against whenever his plane went down and when he crashed and died?
Who?
Hillary fucking Clinton.
Well,
What a big surprise.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton, of all people, when this guy is about to become a bigger deal than what he is, but with a fall cabal. You know who his best friend was, Miss Kori?
who?
Donald fucking Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump was his best friend, and after JFK Jr. died, Donald made a statement back in, was 99, 98 or whatever. He said that one day I will finish what he started.
Well,
So
there you go.
I think everything has been laid out. It has been planned. Really everything in the fall of cabal. It comes down to the next 3 weeks. That's what is fucking crazy about this. The documentary was put out like a year ago.
Okay.
It literally, we are living in the last couple episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
When Trump was elected, first time he went to the White House.
Yes.
Jackie Kennedy, there is a lot of very famous pictures of her wearing a very blue, it's a blue Tiffany coat. She wore it whenever they buried JFK.
Yes.
And whenever JFK Jr. died, there's something along with, their ashes. Their ashes were put in a blue Tiffany's box.
Yes.
Well, the day that Trump got to the White House, it's tradition to give the president before you a parting gift.
Yes.
Well, his wife has a blue Tiffany coat on, and they give...
Is it actually Tiffany blue? Can I say that?
Oh, no, it's blue. Look it up. Blue Tiffany coat, Inauguration Day. But also, too, JFK Jr., his wife, and his sister-in-law are all in the plane that supposedly went down. And whenever he whenever he had his ashes or whatever, now look up Jackie. Now look up Jackie Kennedy.
She's wearing blue, but yeah.
Well, when he gives the box to to Obama on Inauguration Day or whatever it is, he gives Michelle and Barack a box that is the blue Tiffany matching box that JFK Jr. ashes were put in.
Oh, and that's the Tiffany box. Trust me, I know a Tiffany box.
Yeah, like
when I see one.
that's
and
what
they
it
have
is.
the white ribbon. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Well, you also start diving into it a little bit more where it gets even fucking weirder. JFK Jr. came out with a magazine. Mm-hmm. And I think it was called George or something like that. Yeah. I can't remember, but it came out in the 90s. Well, there is the most famous one from it is where there's a space woman on the front. Can you bring that up? Because I don't want to misquote this. There's a space woman on the front, and it's the year 2020. It's I think it's just look up JFK Jr.'s magazine, magazine cover George. Yeah, I thought it was called George. All right, look up. There it is, space woman. All right, this was published. When does it say it was published? It's got to be 97, 98, somewhere back.
It's usually at the top.
Okay, even if you don't. Okay. On the front of that, it says Bill Gates. What does it say about the thing? Can anybody read that this close?
Talks to John Kennedy about Murdoch, money, and world domination.
Yeah, Bill Gates talks about world domination. Read
surprise.
the fucking thing about Hillary Clinton. JD, can you read that? I don't want to misquote it.
Can we zoom in?
Oh, yeah. I don't think you can click on it anymore. But it says Hillary Clinton pretty much, will she face prison?
It says indictment day, will Hillary get busted?
Indictment Day, will Hillary get busted? And this is a magazine that was put out back then, 2020. It also says when you open up the article, just click on that post right there. When you open up the magazine and you go to read the article, there is a famous picture of JFK Jr. sitting in front of the drawing board with the magazine in the back, and it says 2020, and it says underneath it, hold on, it's gonna be a wild ride. This is where the time travel shit gets in there, and it's very, very weird. It's where they predicted all this shit. When you want to talk about predictions and everything, JFK Jr. has it right there. To get even weirder, there is a book that was wrote in the 1800s. It's about it's about time travel. It's called Baron Trump.
Yes.
The Marvelous Underground Journey.
Yep.
And all of this shit is predicted in it. Don had a kid named Barrett. Okay, that can't be a fucking coincidence.
There was like 21
Wasn't it like
coincidences
King
Yeah.
Trump
within
or
that book.
something?
It's
King
the
Trump something?
Marvelous Dawn or something like that. Is that what it's
The
called?
Marvelous Underground Journey. It was about Baron Trump.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
went underground. He found a portal to where he was allowed, where he was capable of time travel, and that's where it goes.
Yeah,
It mentioned Trump, Pence's
Pence is his buddy or his sidekick
Yeah.
or whatever that's in it. There's so many weird fucking things in it.
Yeah, I mean it's unexplainable, and it's crazy. It's weird.
It's
So
either,
Donald Trump is here to carry out the Kennedy.
Yeah.
no, well, see, there's another
Agenda,
thing. There's another
pretty
thing
much.
too. Is all right. If you knew that these people killed your daddy, would you keep running for office and keep being in the public eye? If they've killed your daddy, they've killed your uncle, if they've have took anything away from anybody in your family, would you stay in the public eye?
I'd be like, you can kill me too. I'm gonna keep doing what
Exactly
I'm doing.
right. So whenever he goes to start running for office, and then all of a sudden he magically, right then, he dies, and bodies are cremated, all this stuff. It's too fishy. And there's these two people, there's two or three people, I can't remember, that are always at Trump rallies. Always at Trump rallies.
Mm-hmm.
They have no backstory. Nobody knows who the hell they are. They are, without a doubt, in my mind, it's JFK Jr.
He does.
It's JFK.
So do you think he's not actually dead?
No.
I
believe
think
he's not
he
dead.
did exactly what Tupac did. I think that he knew
Fate to
they
his
were going to
death.
kill him, that they were not going to stop until they killed him, because they killed everybody else in his family. And he's left clues. Even with the magazine, the George magazine, he left clues to what he was going to do. Tupac is so famous for not being dead because the Machiavelli stuff.
And
Do
kill
we
Illuminati.
think that somewhere that he is going to magically appear again and run for president?
I don't think he magically appears
Or
again.
do you think
I
he's just the
think
voice in Trump's ear?
that right here is where I don't know. That I think that he has to announce himself, because if he announces himself, then everybody in the world is going to know that there's something behind
All that.
the Clintons, that is behind the fucked up people in Washington. I think that's why you have to put yourself out there.
Hey, go back to that, please.
But like it with Tupac, with the
What is
Machiavelli
that?
stuff.
Is the QAnon conspiracy actually what?
Yeah, they're right here. QAnon is where one goes, we all go. Am I saying that right?
Yep. Where one goes, we all go.
Where one goes, we all go. Now, you look it up on Facebook.
We
too.
are Q.
Yeah, we are Q. Well, here's fucking something other crazy. If you're President Trump, everybody in this room, for you make a post on social media, you spell check the shit out of that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Why wouldn't the president, unless your only uncensored thing to the media, because even when he gets up there and talks, Fox News, CNN, whoever the hell can take snippets and play us the snippets, right? Unless you're sitting there, you don't know what's actually said, right? It can be manipulated, but Twitter can't be manipulated. So when he misspells stuff, if you look at the way that he misspells shit
Kofifi.
and some of the stuff, he's leaving clues. That there's too many.
Oh, so you're saying like
That's the only way.
what
that,
he's misspelled, like things it lines
Yes.
up makes okay.
Yeah, I mean, if
Let's see this.
Yeah,
I've
if
seen
you-
other people do this.
No. He has put stuff out there that you're like, why is he putting like? He had to have somebody that spells checks that shit. for him.
Kofifi. Yep.
Yeah. And then what happens with those documents later on? It's fucking weird. It's where he is giving us hints. But also, you got to look at this too. Is he's wanting to bring world peace. Everybody talks about that shit or whatever. We're trying to do world peace in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Well, what does the Bible say about 7 years of peace in Israel? It's the beginning of the end of the world.
The beginning of the end, yeah. And it also
And
says
he's
there's
trying-
never going to be peace in the Middle East.
Yeah, and there's not. So I think what it is this is a whole lot more than just Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump, in all fairness to the man, I think he's being led by the people that all of us should be being led by. I think he is not the second coming or any of that bullshit. I don't believe that about him. But I believe that he is not for our salvation.
Trump is not the Antichrist.
No, he's not the Antichrist either. But I believe for our society. I think he is somebody who's going to save our society. I think it's a reset.
He's very woke.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. If you are ever going to be in his position, you've seen the other side. Maybe the reason why, and this has always blown my mind, you had all these people that want to be fucking Trump, wanted to be buddies with him until he got in that position. Well, why any of us would be against somebody that we've always rooted for to be homies with or whatever, because you know shit you're not supposed to know, and you're in a position to where at any point in time you could expose every billionaire, every rich person, or whatever.
That's what I was saying. That's why they don't want to be in office, because they
Have
know
you-
that he knows these things, and
Have
he's
you
not
ever
afraid
seen-
to say it.
Have you ever seen a presidential election before that has been so heated?
No.
No.
Have you ever seen where there's been so much negative shit put out there to where somebody has just been drummed up so much about an individual? They're finding videos like when he ran last time.
Yeah.
When he said he's going to grab that woman by her pussy.
Yeah.
Like, how many people have said fucked up shit like that? But you want to hold it against him. He
Yep.
didn't. He didn't.
Did he actually say that?
Oh yeah, he said.
Oh,
but he
God.
said it to a porn star.
Oh, God.
I've said
What do
way
you
worse.
expect? What do you expect?
Yeah, I mean it's. But also too. All right, there'll be some stuff in my future that if I ever run for office that I'm gonna regret that I said at the time. But I'm gonna remind everybody, I didn't know I was running for office then. Like I was just like you. You ain't never said no bullshit before. That always pisses me off a politician. Just tell the truth.
Right.
Like, yeah, I said it. I didn't know I was going to fucking end up being your president. That's your fault for voting me in. But, guys, this was great. I had a great time with y'all. We didn't touch everything that we wanted to touch. But we're definitely going to have to do this one again. Real quick, like, everything that we kind of went over today, if you got any documentaries, we didn't even get to fucking lizard people. Oh, shit.
That'll be something.
No,
That's a whole nother
next one.
episode.
That's next one.
Yes, sir.
Lizard people is the next episode with these two. These are my conspiracy theory folks. Y'all go watch Fall of Kubal, episode 1 through 10. It's absolutely awesome. Anything with JFK, chemtrails, anything like that, Kori Spires.
And also, if you have any conspiracies you want us to talk about
Absolutely.
or discuss,
Send us
shoot
the
it
shit.
our way, and we will be glad to dive in.
More than happy.
Thank y'all. Y'all, this has been Politics, Religion, and Whiskey. We'll catch you next time.